It's the biggest development in the Bengaluru blast case 8 days after that explosion at the Rameshwaram cafe. The National Investigation Agency has taken 4 ISIS Ballari module members into custody. This as NIA suspects an ISIS link to the Bengaluru cafe blast. Here's precisely why they think so. 8 days on, the Bengaluru Rameshwaram cafe blast accused remains at large. The National Investigation Agency has taken over the probe and is investigating. The big development now is that the NIA has taken 4 ISIS Ballari module members into custody. The NIA suspects the Bengaluru cafe blast is linked to the ISIS Ballari module. All 4 men are being interrogated. One of them is Minaz alias Suleman, a former member of the radical group PFI and the alleged chief of the ISIS Ballari module. He had allegedly hatched conspiracies to carry out terror activities in various parts of the country before.
After National Investigation Agency taking over the case of Rameshwaram cafe blast from CCB, started to investigate in all possible angles. And there were 2 specific angles. One, LET module, and the 2, ISIS Ballari module. In the month of December, NIA had busted ISIS Ballari module, where they had arrested few terrorist suspects, and they also seized arms, ammunition, as well as raw materials like potassium and sodium, which has been used for IED manufacturing.
India today has decoded the movement of the chief accused involved in the Rameshwaram cafe blast. The man seen in CCTV images and whose uncovered face was spotted on a bus. He possibly fled to Bhatkal in coastal Karnataka. On March the 5th, the accused was seen in Karnataka's Tumakuru wearing a mask and cap. He then took a bus to Gokarna on March the 6th from Andhra's Mantralayam. On March the 7th, the accused can be seen getting off from a bus in Bhatkal before disappearing. Meanwhile, Rameshwaram Cafe will open its doors to public from Saturday.
I would like to say thanks to each and every Indians and saying that, with huge responsibility, again we are standing back, at your service. And I'm promising you, we're going to deliver the best out of best South Indian food to everyone as we are doing it.
The hunt for the suspect in the Rameshwaram cafe blast has intensified. His arrest is critical to unearthing any larger terror conspiracy. With Sagaya Raj in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today. So we're talking now about the ISIS Ballari module. What exactly is this and who are these people who've been arrested? Let's take their names. Minaz alias Suleman, 26 years old, hailing from Ballari or Bellari in northern Karnataka, has plotted terror activities across India. According to the NIA, was recruited as a youth has recruited youth after radicalizing them, has targeted college students allegedly and active PFI members. He was the District General Secretary of the Popular Front of India. The ISIS link has emerged now after the Popular Front of India was banned. So that is what Minaz is all about. He's one of the 4 people who's now been arrested by the National Investigation Agency, which took over the Bengaluru blast probe just a few days ago. I want to go across now to India Today's Sagaya Raj, who's live from, in fact, the Rameshwaram Cafe, which opens in a short while from now. Sagai, take us through what the investigation agencies are telling you right now. The ISIS Ballari module has emerged now as a big link. ISIS involved in what happened at the Rameshwaram Cafe. This is a very disturbing development 1 week after the attack.
Absolutely, and if you notice that even Bengaluru blast had a connection of ISIS. And now what we get to learn through our sources is that the NIA is investigating Ballari ISIS model. On December 18, 2023, NIA had busted this particular module in Ballari, where they have arrested around 4 to 5 people, and they also seized arms and ammunition. And apart from that, they also seized raw materials which was being used to manufacture IED. And that is one of the reasons that they believe that there might be one or the other connection with Rameshwaram Cafe accused, with Ballari accused who were arrested in the month of December. And even the NIA officials reached out Ballari yesterday, and they also procured CCTV camera footage in and around bus stand and other places. And they have also zeroed down on one person who was sitting on the chair, was walking inside Ballari bus stand to be one of the suspect of Rameshwaram Cafe. So joining the dots, they believe that the explosion which has been used, the raw materials which was being seized in Ballari might have some or the other connection, and they are trying to investigate by taking all these people who were in prison into their custody and investigate further.
What happens next? 4 people have been arrested, Sagai. The investigation has tracked the chief suspect who's been caught on camera from Bengaluru to Tumkuru to Mantralaya to Gokarna and finally to Bhatkal, which is the last place where he was spotted before he disappeared. What about him? These 4 men have been arrested, but what about the chief suspect?
See, NIA special team is searching for the key suspect, but they are also trying to find out the other suspect who are inside the prison as well as who are outside as well, who are under the radar of NIA. They are suspecting that they might have one or the other connection. For an example, when they arrested Minas, one of the accused was absconding. They couldn't arrest him. And they are also trying to find out if that accused is the same person in Rameshwaram Cafe, or if that accused have any kind of connection with these the person who have had kept the planted the explosion inside Rameshwaram Cafe. So they are investigating all possible angles when it comes to this particular case. And if you notice, Shiv, that not only the Ballari module, even if you notice Sharik, who was arrested in Bangalore bomb blast, once the charge sheet was filed, that's when the NIA has revealed that there was a huge network. There is a number of sleeper cells within Karnataka who are operating secretly, where there are handlers who are guiding them to make explosion using websites as well as supplying them raw materials through online shopping. So this clearly shows that there is a huge network which NIA is trying to bust, and probably in very shortly we might get a good news from NIA that the accused in Rameshwaram Cafe is under their custody.
Thanks, Sagai, for getting us that ground input. Sagai, as you can see, is at the Rameshwaram Cafe, which will be opening its doors to the public very, very shortly after 8 days from that blast. Thank you, Sagai, for that. Joining me live now also for an expert view, an overview of how this investigation has gone so far and his assessment of where things are headed in this very troubling case is former IPS officer, former Special Director of the Intelligence Bureau, Yashovardhan Azad. Mr. Azad, pleasure. Thank you very much for your time and for being with us here in India today to help us understand this confusing case. Sir, I'd like to start by asking you, it's been 8 days. First, I want to talk to you about the chief suspect who's emerged in all these CCTV videos. Troubling details, sir. Appears to be professionally trained in avoiding CCTV, but has been tracked moving from Bengaluru to Tumkuru to Andhra Pradesh and finally disappearing somewhere in Bhatkal. This kind of came out of the blue, sir. Your opening kind of assessment as far as where things are with this case.
Well, Shiv, let me start by saying that the choice of the restaurant, which is one of the most popular ones, the choice of the timing itself, and creating an ID blast were clear markers of a terrorist stand, And when you talk about a terrorist angle in a case in Karnataka, then immediately 2 organizations come to your mind, the PFI and the ISIS. And I'd said it on the opening day itself that these 2 needed to be watched very, very carefully, because what is happening right now is that the Simi cadres, moved seamlessly into PFI. Some of them moved into ISIS. So these are the people who have complete knowledge of whether it's bomb fabrication, about the use of weapons, because you remember they've had their training camps, and also in the use of explosives. In this particular case, The CCTVs, as you rightly said, the way that the fellow was hiding his face and not giving a complete picture meant obviously that this guy has been trained a little. Last year in Karnataka, the investigation, I would say, is in the right track because NIA has had a huge experience last year. You remember almost 44 locations in 4 states they had raided because of the ISIS module. Meant to create acts of terror like this. Another thing which is very, very critical and why the investigation is moving in this direction is the radicalization of the ordinary criminals by the terrorists in jails. And there was another case in Karnataka where 4 of them were caught with even satellite phones, weapons, etc., etc. So in this Ballari module, which is a very, very important module with the catching of this guy Minaz, I think, as you mentioned, is very crucial for this because they might be in custody, they might have been arrested, but a detailed interrogation might, reveal a lot of details. But one thing is true, the main man has not been caught, and that is a little disturbing. I do hope with extended interrogation of these 4, there are some clues and there are some leads. Already NIA has announced a reward of 10 lakhs.
Is that, Mr. Azad, is that why it is so difficult to find this man? Even with all the technology that we have, tracking data, etc., mobile phones, satellite imagery, etc., that it's so difficult to track a person even when you have their picture, sir?
2, 3 things in this, First of all, mobiles, they are such experts that they keep throwing the SIMs away after making a call, or they are using, public telephone booths and things like that.
Yeah.
And in the CCTV, there is only one shot which is available in which you can have a picture. Now, if you use the facial identification system, it works, it does not work. But they have found one link somewhere else when he was catching a bus or something. So it is still difficult because the images which are coming to you, these are hybrid militants. He could be a normal man doing something during the day and radicalized and doing such activities at night. So it's difficult to find. You can't match it with your database which you have. That is the critical problem, and that is why there is a difficulty in catching this guy.
8 days and counting. 4 people have been detained, as Yashovardhan Azad correctly says. Hopefully that will lead to the arrest of this chief suspect who's been caught on camera. Mr. Azad, thank you very much for your time and giving us your wisdom on this unfolding story. Remember, the Rameshwaram Cafe will be opening very, very shortly after 8 days since that blast.